Hey everybody, Steve here, and welcome to day 23 of my journey into crypto, where each day I'm trying to learn something new, just a little bit more, so I can get comfortable to navigate this crazy new world of cryptocurrency, decentralized everything, NFTs, you name it. And today I'm going to spend a little bit of time on decentralized gaming or NFT gaming, whatever you want to call it. But I just want to talk about gaming in the world of crypto compared to gaming online as we know it now. And an example that I thought was really interesting. So let's go ahead and get into it. So today, day 23, NFT gaming, and I'm going to introduce a lame title, but it's a cautionary tale. It's a really good example of how something went wrong. In the game I'm going to talk about, I'll reveal in just a moment. But before we get there, let's just talk about gaming in general, decentralized gaming, how it works. What I think is really cool, really powerful, and intriguing about this new technology is when you participate in these games, you can, as an individual, you can create, you can buy, and you can sell assets. And these assets occur in NFT form. So there's so many ways you can explore these games. You can learn all sorts of stuff and even earn NFTs or earn currency in the game's native currency, which translates to real life dollars and cents. And one of the games that's really popular right now and growing is called Decentraland. I spent a little bit of time on this the other day. It's an online world, but what I think is really neat, it gives people who are creative the ability to create objects in that world. There are marketplaces where you can sell it. There's virtual land that you can buy. So it emulates a lot of what's already existing in a lot of online games, but gives you as an individual, a creative person, the ability to make things and sell it. And that is in contrast to what we know in real life on other type of games. So here's a super popular game. If you got kids like I do, you'll see this on your television all the times. And Fortnite sells a currency called V-Bucks. It does the same thing as some of these decentralized games. You can purchase outfit, tools, wraps, emotes, whatever those are. Actually, I know, but my kids hate it when I talk about the games that they play. But who owns all this? It is the game producer developer. They own all these assets. You as an individual, if you buy them, they're not yours. You're just renting them for a lot of money. And because they're virtual, they have no variable costs to produce one more. That's 99.999 pure profit for the developers. And you don't have any leeway about how you use them except for under the terms and conditions of how they operate the game. So in other words, you cannot transfer any of those assets to another account. So once you spend it on yourself, it's locked in. You can't do anything else with it. So you're literally giving them more money for a really neat feature, a nice attribute. So if you love the game, it's not a bad way to spend money. It's pure entertainment, but you're not building an asset that you can use. There's no appreciation for anything that you do in a game. It's just entertainment and a way to spend your time. So the game I want to talk about today is a game called Crypto Mines. And the cautionary tale about this one is that they had appreciation of value or a really fast rate. And I'll go over that in a second, but let's talk about the gameplay just really briefly. So they use tokens. They have real world value. They can appreciate, they can depreciate. The token is called Eternal. And you can buy Eternal on the Binance Smart Chain by going and buying a token like BNB, currency like BNB, and then go trade it on PancakeSwap, and you can get the Eternal token. And once you have Eternal and your Smart Chain wallet is connected, you can play this game. And it's a really powerful example of how you can take your money, translate it into cryptocurrency, and play a game. So let's get into what that looks like in a second here. So here's what the game looks like from outside in. I'm not going to get into it too much, but the big picture here is that it's a sci-fi game. You can invest in equipment in the game to go and mine planets and earn rewards. And the equipment that you invest in are spaceships and workers. And each of these are an NFT, and they cost some Eternal to buy. So they're making money. The developers in the community are building up appreciation because you're spending money to get assets, and then you go earn Eternal by playing this game. And it can get pretty complicated. The big thing that was interesting to me when I was looking at it in retrospect is they have a market and you can sell fleets, they got spaceships, all those type of things. Now, here's the thing that happened that was really bad. In the September timeframe, this game started gaining attraction. You can see this is the price chart for the Eternal token. In September, at the end of September, it was trading under $1 per token. And that was their floor price. And it started getting popular. And as you can see, into October, it started raising up. And then we went really quickly from under $1 to $100 by early November. It was almost at 100. And then here we get to mid-November, it's $200. And then it's up there at the end of November. You can see that it peaked finally at right around almost 800, $788. And then you can see here, a huge cliff, literally just dropped. And if I scroll out, you can see that this right at the end of November, it went from around $700, $800 to almost nothing in a matter of just a few days. So right after Thanksgiving, this game crashed and burned. And so here's what happened though. So this wasn't a situation that was what was called a rug pull, or where the developer just said, no, we locked everything and they walked away from the project. What really happened is all these people who got in early and along the way had a massive sell-off at the end. And that's what's hypothesized of what happened, but a massive sell-off. And behind the scenes in the game is because all these NFTs never had any depreciation of value. So if you bought all these ships, all these workers, and started mining these planets and started earning currency in the form of Eternal, just like in the real world, if we mined anything with a truck or a piece of equipment or had a spaceship, there would be depreciation of that asset over time. There'd be wear and tear. People would get sick. They'd have to rest, all those type of things. And then you'd have to buy new things. And that game didn't have anything like that. So there was no depreciation of value in those assets. And so what happened is you had this massive inflation in the form of this Eternal token, and then it just crashed to nothing. So I brought this to attention just because I discovered this today as I was looking into decentralized games to play. I read about this one after watching some videos that were being made in early October when people are excited about it. And then I looked at the price and saw that, oh my gosh, it's actually down at the bottom. Again, what happened? And that got me curious to look into it. So my takeaway from this is that there are going to be a lot of games introduced. There are continually new games being introduced every day because you can produce a game, have people purchase the game by way of buying NFTs and investing in more NFTs, and there's real money being earned. And the design of the game matters. So if you're going to spend your money on playing a game, if you get into a game and you're getting speculative and hoping to make some money, this is one outcome. There are a lot of other good outcomes where you can earn money and it's actually well designed so this type of thing doesn't happen. I thought this was a great example of a game that had a really big impact early on in terms of like people adopting it rapidly, having really big success, and then it crash and burn. You can read all about it here too. This link is a message from the developer communities and what they're doing. And they're trying to do the right thing, which is convert to a new game and continue this with some corrections. So it wasn't a scam. It wasn't what is called a rug pull, where somebody just tried to earn a bunch of money and walk away from it. But there was an unforeseen, unintended consequence with how the gameplay works and how the token appreciated in an inflationary manner, and lots of people got out. And a lot of people, I'm sure, made a lot of money on this, and they ran because they could see what was going to happen with this. So in that sense, it was not unlike a pyramid scheme. You can read about this if you're curious, and just keep this filed away for something to know in the future. And that is when you get into a game and you're thinking about starting to play, in other words, spend money on it, invest. If you're doing it for entertainment, fine. If you're starting to load more money into it, really understand what they're doing. Read the white paper, read what they call the tokenomics. That's how all the currencies exchange inside the game and outside the game and how value is created. Understand all those things. So when you get to a point where you're actually putting more money in and you're expecting maybe to make a return, that you're not surprised if something unintended happens. And this is part of doing your own research. And this is a really good example because it happens so quickly and it's so stark. All right, that is it for today. I will see you next time. Thanks.